Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I'm your host and sometimes referee, Zax Pearson, and today I'm joined by Pika Datmitsu.
Yeah, or Mika, throw that ass right on my deal.
Not even going to try to touch that one. And of course, his long lost, disturbing verbality brother from another mother, a returning customer in the chaos of podcasting, Havon Dat Morris.
Bring me some pickles.
What the fuck? Not
What?
Also not even going to touch that one. And we have our rare guest, or I guess reoccurring guest at this point, since this might be semi-annual. We have the one, the only, Officer Cops. How you doing?
That old joke from when I was a kid. Hey, how you doing?
Yes, in case y'all didn't know, that's his last name is actually Cops. So many puns, so little time. All right, so a bit of a brief update. So, hey, where you been? A lot of people wondering. The 2.5 people that actually look at this thing.
Oh, I've been at work and working some family issues out. And actually, this past July, possibly drunk for 11 days nonstop.
Well, if country folk are good at one thing, it's drinking. Anyways. Alright, so there's been a bit of a debacle and issue as to what happened to the last podcast, but I'm not going to get into that because you already heard it a billion times. But another reason that unfortunately that one is going to be delayed or either just unrecoverable is because of a Nintendo issue. See, I know it's a bit of a rarity to have Nintendo recorded and captured footage, which I have the ability to do on all systems that they've released. So I thought it'd be nice if, as a change of pace, instead of doing some heavy, intense action shit, I would either go and throw up some ARMS capture footage or some Breath of the Wild capture footage that I could draft up. But, unfortunately, I was also extremely busy with the supposed quote-unquote Nintendo Switch hashtag Summer of Play, which I was supposed to work. See what I did there? I said suppose. So, I'm not going to bore y'all with all the details, but basically Nintendo's going around the country setting up, well, Nintendo Play stations. I don't have a better way to put it. And letting people come in out of the hot ass sun, chill, play some games, win some free stuff, or get you a little bit of food and drink on. And it was going to be a nice little time, especially for $20 a fucking hour. And they specifically pointed me out because they love my performance from last time. And so I go there and they immediately fucking tell me, hey, we overbooked, we don't need you, go home, have a nice day. On top of that, that very same week when I was expecting my Switch to come out of the repair shop from Nintendo because it came out defective from the time I bought it, I was informed that they fucking lost my Switch. Yeah, they lost it. But as condolence, they'll be letting me, world's smallest violin, I know. As I guess retribution, they're letting me get 1, a free Switch again, 2, a free game of my choice off their store, and 3, immediately re-download codes for any game I've already purchased and put on my Switch.
Well, sounds like they're doing right by ya.
No, because that doesn't
Kind
give
of.
me my data back. Yeah, that's right. You need that asterisk, kinda. All my data is lost.
Yeah.
All that playing time gone.
Summer of Play is not
Mad
good.
as fuck.
And I just find it ironic. I was supposed to work at a Summer of Play, and guess what? I can't play this summer. Anyways.
This just in, folks. R.I.P. Fudo. He's just been eliminated from Street Fighter V.
In Evo 2017. You always gotta say that. Okay, so in case you guys haven't realized it, there's a decent chunk of us that follow fighting games. I won't say religiously, but follow them in general. I'm a bit selective, so if I get a fighting game, it's because I'm going to follow that whole fucking franchise, and I'm not going to play that many others. But that's always been beneficial to me. What's the point of being a master of 5, 6 fighting games when your friends only play 2? Anyways, So yeah, that's kind of what happened with both the audio and the video. So for the time being, I guess I'll have to use Prompto DLC Final Fantasy 15 footage because, well, Aranea is in it, and everybody likes Aranea, and I fucking hate Prompto, but Aranea makes me feel better.
She's pretty cool.
Anyways, all right, so let's dig those heels directly into those motherfucking topics. Topic number one, and before I start, let me just say this right now. Satoru Iwata, may your soul rest in peace. Until this motherfucker showed up. Alright. So, for those of you who don't know, Forbes, or rather Forbes.com, recently had a conversation with, well, some people in the gaming industry about Nintendo. And seriously, I don't know, why the fuck somebody put a Forbes link in the chat, because Forbes wasn't where the article came from. But I'm going to go ahead and go find it again. Because I want to make sure I don't put words in this asshole's mouth. He got a big ass mouth. Bet he can fit my fist in it. Alright.
The Forbes article is where Nintendo's ranked on the global scale of, consoles and shit.
Oh, well, then we'll hold on to that one just for a point of reference. Because, yeah, that sounds like it will come in handy. We'll hold on to that one as a point of reference.
Yeah, I'd say the fact that it showed up in Forbes means...
You're doing
maybe
good.
It's kind of important.
Yeah, and not to mention you're doing good. All right, so a man by the name of let's see, what's the company? Okay, MyNintendoNews.com recently reported on the comments of a man by the name of Lauren Lanning. Now, Lauren Lanning, in case you don't know, is the co-founder and president of Oddworld Inhabitants. Now, the Oddworld is a bit of a unique company because they may make maybe 5 or 6 games in 11, 12 years, but they're extremely polished and they're extremely meticulously built. Let me just say that. Okay. Now, here's the thing. He started talking massive amounts of garbage, not necessarily about Nintendo, which isn't uncommon for any of the big three, but specifically Satoru Iwata, the previous president who died, unfortunately, due to, if memory serves, a lung cancer or a throat cancer. Not necessarily the same things, but they're both connected, so you know.
It's kind of a liver cancer. It's called bile duct cancer.
Okay, bile duct. Thank you for that clarification. Now his exact statements are, I don't have faith. I have no faith. It's due to experience. I see a similar level of success than they had with previous generations. Wii U, Wii. By the end of the life, the Wii, who else was making money aside from Nintendo? How many titles sold for the Wii that weren't Nintendo first party? They started basically evaporating third party support. When we get to the Wii U, same. No third party support. Okay, I guess he's just fucking blind. You would think, okay, the Switch, it's mobile. That is interesting. How well are other developers going to bring titles over? Not very well. A lie, by the way, because you're going to have to spend more time, energy, and effort to get it on that console. No, not that's common sense when you do any porting. And an underpowered console that's going to have fewer units in the market. Yeah, fewer units for now because the shit can't stay on the shelf. The thinking has to change. The biggest problem I see at Nintendo is the thinking. Personally, I think it killed Iwata. Yes, he said that. That he couldn't move the organization into a really successful arena. I could have sworn that they had over 18 billion in the bank before he even fucking died. It's a tragedy because Nintendo brought this business back. We're all playing today because of Nintendo's valiantness. Then they controlled quality. They had controls which were really part of its longevity and made the game business a valid space again. Now those controls, they really need to get 21st century about, and they're not. Now,
you know who I love?
Sorry. Now the original article, which was an article, comes from the channel on YouTube called Kinda Funny Games, which I'm gonna drop a link to you guys in later because it's a really long video, but just, you might want to look at it. He came in during a podcast as a special guest on the Game Over Greg show done on the Kinda Funny YouTube channel, and that's where he disclosed all this information. Nintendo News just reported on it, or I guess parroted it. And here's the original link. So, I'm just gonna go by age, not to make you guys feel like your opinions aren't valid. But I'm gonna start with you, Mr. Pika, since you are the oldest person here. What are your feelings on these asinine comments?
Well, let's see here. Let's go all the way back to the release of the NES in America.
I'm gonna pull up that Forbes shit again.
Okay. The NES basically brought video gaming to mainstream America. Atari did nice things, but it was really Nintendo that got the boom started. And then the Super Nintendo followed it, even more popular. But then, Genesis came along and we started getting a wider community. Things kind of took off from there, but Nintendo always found a way to keep things nice and popular, make sure the common gamers satisfied with things, and bring something new to the table. Now, with the Wii, they took a large leap out there and said, hey, what if we made a controller that was partially, a controller, but it didn't have all the complex stuff in it, but we made it motion-based. Get people more interactive. That was a huge success. Then the Wii U, it was a good idea in thought. Give people a little mini tablet and have something that... What's up, dog? Have something that freaking you can take into another room or a different area of the house and still be able to play your games on. Just something a little bit further away, so people want to dog you about watching TV. Sure, you can change an input, watch TV while playing the game. It was a good idea for that family-type household, but just didn't really get too strong with support from games. Holy shit, that dude's fat. But
okay,
it had its good times, but not really good compared to the Wii, but still good times. For somebody to shit on multiple decades of higher than average success, and exactly how far has this nigga been in the industry, to even look in the depths of what Mr. Iwata Rip has had to deal with, has had to plan out for the future, has had to at times seem like stake Nintendo on? Has he been any part of that? No, I don't think so. You're just like one of those little stream trolls / YouTube comment trolls that just wants to come in and just try to poke at a beehive's nest and just try to get a reaction out of somebody. Number one, you're going to get shit on. Number two, you're going to get ignored. Number three, you're going to get ridiculed. So why don't you just go back to, looking at Kim Kardashian's ass and just trying to make fun of all those little other rich people. You go do that. Go make fun of people that you don't really need to research, and stay out of things that you actually need to know the history of in order to even sound remotely smart.
That's probably the only tame verbality that's going to happen on this entire podcast. And I appreciate you being able to show that level of restraint.
Mm.
All right, so I guess next in the chronological order is me. Lauren Lennon. Now, I want to make sure, unlike you, you little fuckboy, I'm extremely accurate with how I'm going to dissect every part of you. So I'm going to actually do something that colleges seem to not like, which is go pull up your entire fucking history off of Wikipedia. And there you are, an American art director, or so you claim. You're a 53-year-old game designer who's also dabbled in voice acting. And you've been the board director at the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences and an advisor of the Academy of Art University. So basically, you're a shill of the industry already. Because you should already know that you don't have to get a game design degree to get into game design. Not to mention game design existed before, well, the degrees did. But let's just go into your career a little bit, and I'll be brief with it. Initially studying photorealism and commercial illustration at the School of Visual Arts in NYC, he soon attended the California Institute of Art, where he graduated with a BFA in character animation. Working as a technical director at TRW, Lanning later moved to Rhythm and Hues Studio in Hollywood, where he would later meet producer Sherry McKenna through his work. After McKenna joined Rhythm and Hues through Lanning, he later convinced her to co-found a video game development company with him. So you have a background in photorealistic illustration, and you jump the gun into animation, and you combine those two for video games. So already you don't have anything in your scholastic background that can dictate the comments coming out of your mouth having any validity, because, well, for one thing, I'm not saying you have to have a master's or a bachelor's or any degree, but you have no fucking experience in the simplest shit of console production and distribution outside of your third-party software and entertainment. Of the third-party software and entertainment, you've only released a grand total of, or been in charge of, 7 games, 2 of which are HD versions of older games. Abe's Odyssey in 97, Abe's Exodus in 98, Munch's Odyssey in 2001, Stranger's Wrath in 05, Stranger's Wrath HD in 2011, Munch's Odyssey in 2012, and Oddworld New and Tasty in 2014. Now let's just contrast Nintendo's history as a video game entertainment, because the company is very, very old. According to Forbes, as of May, this version of Nintendo, which handles with video games and interactive media, was founded in 1947, has over 5,000 employees, and net worth is, well, like I said, very, very high, 32.8 billion, and their sales as of May, which means basically from their fiscal year starts in March, from March to right now is 3.59 billion. Not to mention, they're in the top 100 of world's most valuable brands. First off, that title alone is something that almost anybody who owns a company would kill for. They're 63rd to be more exact, since 2013. But real talk, if you're one of the world's most valuable brands, that's not a title that you take lightly. And they're also in 2013 they made it into the top 100 innovative companies in 2013. Now, that's not to discredit your very, very small, minute company's existence. In fact, you've had a lot of titles, and pretty much all of your titles have been extremely well received, to the point where some people consider them industry standards. Even if they don't play them, many things on them were either standards that got refined or became standards later on. But let me tell you something. Hey, Pika, set your mic to push to talk.
Sure.
When you have the audacity to sit up here and shit on someone who not only you already claim is responsible for you even having a fucking job in this industry, who is not is also a victim of cancer, so he can't even defend himself because he's a dead man. 3, his family can't even come at you because he is one of the only people within his family who not only works at Nintendo, but is in the gaming industry in general. A man who was so in love with the idea of entertainment software that he went almost a whole year without talking to his father because his father felt great shame. And all stereotypes aside, you guys know how honor and shame are, how deeply they are woven into Japanese culture. Shame that his son did not want to follow his political footsteps. And you go and belittle this man, and your biggest claim, which most of was real talk, non-coherent. Y'all, I read it off. Y'all heard it. A lot of it was non-coherent. Your biggest claim is that the problem is that now their system is underpowered and they don't have third-party support. By the way, both claims bullshit. Because if Nintendo didn't have third-party support, they wouldn't even probably bother with selling systems, and they would go the way Sega did. Say what you will about Sega and their Dreamcast, which is considered a blessing in disguise and a very, very future-centric system. They actually made nothing but profit the first year after they stopped making consoles. Nintendo alone does not produce enough games in a 12-month time span to warrant making a system by itself. In fact, I can promise and tell you as of right now, as far as first-party titles, Nintendo barely makes 12 in a 12-month time span. In fact, there have been years where they barely made a double digit. It's not uncommon because good games take fucking time. Something he should know very well, considering how he's really only released 5 and the rest. Oh no, actually not even that. Well, I'm going to say he released 4 because even though the last one he most recently did was an HD remake, it was a remake period. Sit up here talking all this goddamn shit, you disgusting old ass man. You are 53 fucking years old. Yeah. And we share a birthday month. That depresses me. That disgusts and depresses me. You've been a writer, so you know how to pick your words and you chose not to. And to top it off, you've only worked in one section of the video game industry, and that is basically game directing, which means that you are someone who at a bigger company could be easily replaced, but not even that. Your foresight and know-how is extremely fucking limited. You sound like a broken record that everyone's heard stereotypes about since the beginning. Nintendo only makes baby games. Nintendo only makes family games. Now, those weren't his actual words, but let's be honest. He was heavily implying it. They don't have third-party support. Again, a fucking lie. It'll cost money to port their games. First off, that's common sense. There is no game that is free to port unless you give it to a different company and they tell you we're going to do it pro bono. And to my knowledge in the history of video gaming, that shit has never happened. You disgust me on a personal level because you attacked a dead man. And not even a dead man who was hated. If you attacked Hitler as a dead man, no one will come at you. Hell, you could talk shit about Bill Cosby when he dies. No one will probably come at you. But no, you came at someone who was damn near responsible for the career choice you have right now. And you do it after he's taken by cancer and then have the gall to claim that it was because of stress from using or making the Nintendo Wii U and the Nintendo Wii and trying to get the Switch to be successful. Which it actually fucking is. So basically what you're telling me is that like many an SJW before you, yes, they come in all shapes and sizes. It's not just a stereotype of emotionally sensitive, hypersensitive, insecure women online with revenge on their mind because they can't beat someone's ass they hate. A stupid stereotype even of that. But you want to work on feelings and not facts like they do. Fuck you. I am never buying any of your games. If anyone ever asks me, should they play those games, I'm immediately going to tell them no. And I'm not going to make up anything other than he decided to shit on someone who died of cancer. And I'm going to leave it at that. Because you're a fucking asshole. And nothing about that is redeemable. And when you come out in the media and apologize 2-3 weeks later, or when you get a shitstorm on Twitter because of your comments, I'm just going to sit there and watch with a bag of popcorn in my fucking chair. And I'm going to have a grin on my face that Sonic the Hedgehog will be proud of. Fuck you. Truly. Alright, moving on. Haven, how old are you? Matt, how old are you? Because I don't know which one of you is older. I want to say Matt.
I am 23.
Yeah, I'm older than that.
Okay. Alright, it's your turn, officer.
Well, far as I see it, Nintendo, yeah, back during the great video game crash in the 80s, they saved video games single-handedly. They were the that great hero that rushed in when everything was just about to fall apart to hold the building up just long enough for those others to crawl out of it. And that hero did it and survived. So, yeah, Nintendo video gaming owes them quite the debt for saving the industry back during the great video game crash. Though, looking at the more, not so much recent, but looking back at the Wii U, it was honestly not that good of a console. It was weak and it ended up being a failure for Nintendo, but that had nothing to do with, you know, Iwata dying. No, that was cancer. If you're gonna mention the Wii U was a failure, which yeah, it was. Nintendo even admits this. Talk about that. Don't talk about the man who died of cancer. That's. It feels to me like he's doing this just to get a bunch of attention because you know the theory: no press is bad press. Yeah, maybe that's what he's doing. But I can't agree with the whole disrespecting of the water like that. It's honestly pretty dickish. I would definitely hold that against him. But I'm not exactly going to say that the games he made aren't worth playing because, yep, they're really good. Abe's Odyssey was one of my favorite PS1 games back in the day. But that's my say on it.
Okay. All right, Haven. Close us out, man.
Okay, so you're gonna attack a company, not just the company, but the president of that company that's been doing nothing but making your job easier since they became a fucking stalwart fucking company, and then you're gonna blame one failure, one single failure, the Wii U. That's your pitch, and you say it drove a man to his death when he had a rare condition that's called, what's it called again? Let me pull it up here. Bile duct cancer. It has nothing to do with stress at all. It has to do with the body not being able to regulate. I think it's salt, and it goes around the liver, and it causes just the liver to stop working because it makes these ducts into it, and you want to go and twist medical facts and tell them that it was from the stress of trying to keep the company afloat. The man didn't have to keep the company afloat. The company is a fucking yacht going down the fucking river, and it doesn't even have its engine on high right now, and it's cruising. And you want to twist facts and say stupid things just so you can get some attention. And that to me is not okay. Especially taking somebody's medical, like, if I would be okay if you were just talking shit about the man, cuz I talk shit about a lot of people, but you had to bring in his medical history, something that he had no control of because it is a rare medical condition that they have no cure for. To me, that's fucking lame. It's fucking stupid. You should feel ashamed of yourself for bringing up that man's medical history. That man has worked his whole life just so you can get a little bit headway in the gaming community. Nintendo is a beachhead. It's like Normandy. Nintendo is one of the star gaming communities. So what? They make family games. So what? They had one console to go off the rails. They're still one of the most valuable companies in the world. In the world, this I'm talking on the phone. They're still one of the companies that keep the gaming community going, and yet Fuck all that, cause you want some attention. I'm not gonna drag this out. Fuck you as a person, bro. And don't ever talk about nobody's medical history if you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Don't make you smart. Don't make you cool. Makes you look like an ignorant motherfucker. You know what an ignorant motherfucker is, right? It's called a nigga. You're being a fucking nigga.
Well, that's one of the slang term definitions. I know the authentic version of the definition, but hey, it's a multi-purpose word. It's like the Swiss Army nice of words. No, I can't hear you, Coleman. Are you experiencing some mic trouble? Okay, well, keep trying to talk so we can hear you. Now, oh, well, I guess he's going to reset his Discord.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I just want to make a quick note. I like how most of us said that, there's only one console that failed for Nintendo.
Look,
Even I said
we're not
that.
trying to think about the Virtual Boy, okay?
Damn it. You know exactly where I was going with that.
Yeah, but you don't bring up the Virtual Boy. It's not even if you're a Nintendo fan. It's just for all video gaming. Ugh.
Just making that note.
It existed to make gamers blind.
Well, technically there was only one case of it, but still, the fact that it even happened is fucking scary.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I think Haven probably should have had his call in the bathroom, or at least in a basement or something, because it's. I don't know if y'all remember or not, but he has a very, very country grandma that he lives with. Okay, and she white, but oh, her accent is fucking adorable. Like, she genuinely sounds like Rogue from X-Men, but older. And anybody who lives above the Mason-Dixon line is automatically a Yankee. Not in the offensive way. She just calls him a Yankee as like a general term. She is an adorable figure. Anyways, all right. Moving into topic 2, before I get even more venomous than I was earlier. Evo 2017 is upon us. Now, for those of you who don't know that, what it is the largest, or I guess the most popular video game fighting tournament in the motherfucking world. Okay? People come from all over the world to see who's gonna be the very best. Like no one ever was that year. Don't make the reference. Now, one of the things that have been starting to happen in more recent years is video game fight makers have been bringing builds to Evo instead of putting their demos up online. Now, let me ask you guys something. My question is, with titles like Dragon Ball Fighter Z being there, and we all know that we would love to get our hands on that fucking demo. EX Fighting Layer, basically a sequel to Street Fighter EX, so you can think of it like Street Fighter EX4, but we'll probably have to pay DLC money to get the Capcom characters back in there. I honestly feel like that's gonna fucking happen too. That's a damn shame. Anyways, and one other new fighting game, Soul of Revelations or Soul of something that I don't remember. Do you think that it's a good idea to only show it off in these very specific finite locations where the least amount of fight game players are going to be able to play it? Yes, there are a lot of people who play fighting games there, but let's be honest, they only get like maybe 2 or 3 systems, and the main drawing pool is watching other people play fighting games instead of releasing the demos out to the mass market via virtual console. Do you think there's a way for them to curb this mentality or learn that this isn't necessarily right, or do you think it's perfectly okay? And we're going to start with Mr. Cops.
As far as I see it, they could do both. Release a demo and have it at the big, fighting game tournament.
So you think they should do both?
Yeah. Even more exposure.
Okay, now, any particular reason why you want them to do both?
Well, it gives the most exposure possible to the game. I mean, they announce, hey, we've got this fancy new game at over here at freaking what's it?
E3.
Yeah, E3 and all that. Okay, yeah, announce it there, and then maybe, around the same time or possibly just vary a little bit afterwards, release a demo for the general public to play as well and get perhaps more input from the people who are going to be buying your game.
Okay. All right. What about you, Pika?
I think it's a perfectly fine idea. However, my reason is something that may differ from other people's ideas. I think that they are bringing these demos to Evo to put in the hands of all these fighting game players to generally act as a big ass like bug testing session. Because these guys know what to look for. They know the general concept of games. They know when something's off. So they want to get a big chunk of info and feedback at one point in time. Because when people get eliminated from their tournaments, a lot of them like to stick around and do shit. And if you just so happen to have a couple of games off to the side that you can play, that's pretty nice. And if it just so happens to be a game that isn't released yet, it'll get more interest. Thus, you'll get more people playing it. Thus, you'll get more people testing it. So that if you got someone watching nearby to see if anything pops up, any bugs, or if you have the people who are playing it give you feedback on what might be good, might not be good, might be broken, you're basically doing a whole lot of more hours work with just like, maybe 5-10 bug/beta testers in your studio compared to like hundreds, maybe even thousands of people in like a small amount of time, which is very nice. So, and with that same thought in mind, releasing it to the general public could be a bad thing, because you get one kind of bad bug in a game, things might not end up well, and might get some mixed reviews early. Yeah. So, I think just keeping it confined to this big tournament where it'll be favorably looked upon by most people is a good idea.
Okay. All right. What about you, Haven? You back yet?
Yeah, I've been back.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say
That was just the end of my statement. My grandma said that they need to get religion. I'm gonna say get religion.
Yeah, that is a
because now there's another angel in the sky working for God, and if you keep running your mouth about him, something bad's gonna happen.
Okay.
But that's her point of view.
Well, go ahead and give your opinion on it.
Well, I'm not a big fighting game fan, but when you start to mess with people that like to go to tournaments and sit around and watch people, because I have no problem sitting there and watching somebody play a game as long as it's entertaining. I mean, as long as it does what you said it was gonna do, and you don't piss on your fans, and they get what they want out of it, I think you can pretty much do anything as long as you do right by your fans. Now, in the case of Dragon Ball Z Fighters Z or whatever, it looks good from the way it's put together. Like, the visuals are good, but I'm waiting to see the actual structure of fighting. Because if it feels like a Street Fighter game, Dragon Ball Z never felt like a Street Fighter game. If it feels like a Street Fighter game, I just gonna feel like they ripped off Street Fighter, or they ripped off Capcom and versus Marvel. And, I like Dragon Ball Z fighting games. I like Budokai. I like Tenkaichi. Raging Blast was cool, but I like them for the difference from how all the other Street Fighter, how other fighting games fought. Like Tekken fights different from Dragon Ball Z. Street Fighter fights different from Tekken and Dragon Ball Z. But when you go and start copying what games fight like, it downplays the value for me. Like I love the way that Budokai played. You could kick people out of the arena. You could you could catch other people's attacks, and then you're going into something like Street Fighter, where if they do their super move, all you can do is take it if you get hit by it. So, you know, I'm not a big fighting game fan, so I don't really have much to say on this topic. But I'm keeping an eye on the Dragon Ball Z fighter game.
Okay. Well, I guess partially my opinion is different. Yeah, surprise, surprise. I'm sure it's a meme by this point. I don't think they should bring it to them fucking tournaments. And I don't mean that because I feel like, oh, fighting game players is spoiled, blah, 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 some other dumb, irrelevant shit like that. My problem with it is that that's not where your biggest audience is. And also, I feel like they're using it, or they're indirectly using it to try to manipulate opinions or do opinion control, which, first off, video game companies have done before. Some of them do it innocently or think they do it innocently, and some of them outright pull an EA on your ass. But my problem is simply this. Since everyone isn't playing it, you're getting limited feedback. And since you're getting limited feedback and you only got 1 or 2 units, how can you say that that's a good idea when you can get hundreds of thousands, especially if it's a popular title, by having a demo online, having someone hit the feedback button and instantly telling you right there on the spot? Like, at this point in time, in this day and age, it's almost a slap in the face. It would have been one thing if they brought the demo and a trailer just to show people, but no, they're actually trying to use it to build data and as an excuse to not do demos. Fuck you. But hey, that's just a theory. Alright, now for our little bit of I guess, break, if you can call it that. We're going to go into the news. Now, who think they got something interesting?
I think I might.
Alright, go ahead.
So, for those of you familiar with a certain little company by the name of Nippon Ichi Software,
Yay.
it seems that Makai Wars, gasp, is actually getting some sort of release as a smartphone game.
What the fuck?
I mean, I'm happy it's getting released, but as a smartphone game,
like, I was literally
I'm
about
iffy.
to remind you, hey, just saying a game getting released is not actually fucking news. But then you'd go and drop that bombshell. Yeah, this is news. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, this is a game that they was previously in like development hell, and they actually joked about in pretty much in a lot of their games with having that main character showing up in various places.
Who was the main character?
I believe it was Asagi. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that girl. They did say she was going to get a game at some point.
Yeah, and they kept teasing it all throughout their other games. I guess now she's finally getting one. But it's a mobile game, so I'm not sure what to think about that.
Me neither. What, in English or Japanese?
Unsure.
Well, I dropped the trailer in the chat if anyone wants to see it. Just make sure you hit mute.
Yeah, it looks like it's probably only Japan right now, but it might eventually come to the West.
Bit of a history with this character because she has one of the interesting ones. For those of you that follow the Disgaea series, there's a character that started showing up. I think it was in around Game 3. Who, well, no, she's in a video game like many other characters do in the game. And her only true goal is to become a star of a game. And this running gag continued for years. And the creators, like you said, were making jokes about, oh yeah, she'll get a video game one day. Ha 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 ha. Well, technically, they lied, because this ain't a video game, this is a cell phone game. But yeah, so the gag has now become reality. Much like Deadpool being Ryan Reynolds if he went through a meat grinder. So, there's that.
Pretty much.
Alright, Pika, what you got for news?
Okay, so for news, I would like to state that I got myself some tickets to WWE Live, motherfuckers.
Video game news.
Oh.
Like you didn't
Okay.
already know that.
I would like to state that I believe that mobile games really are on the rise. I'm currently playing a game called Game of Dice. It's nice because it's like Monopoly, but you get to shit on people. However, it seems that I've been on a bit of a losing streak, and I've been the one that's been getting shit on. Horribly. Even though I play the odds, the game wants to decide, fuck you, we're gonna pick the least likely option to happen, and we're gonna drop you right on that. Have fun losing all your money. Fuck you, Game of Dice. But still, it is a fun game. I highly suggest, if you want like a Monopoly of like 18 plus versions that you can get hype over, go get Game of Dice. It is free on your Android, Google Play Store, iPhone, Apple Store, may even be on the Amazon Kindle Store. Give it a try. You just might find yourself with a new game to play when you're on the road.
Okay. Haven, what you got for us?
Well, I play Clash of Clans and all that bullshit on my phone when I'm driving around on my forklift.
Is this a news story?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
But it's not. And you actually shared it on Facebook.
Well, I'm not going to spoil it. Go ahead.
But for all you fighting game fans and all you Call of Duty heads out there, if you think you're badass and you think you can do it for real, and I forget where it's at. Where is it at? There is a new sport coming on the scene that mixes the two, and it's played with simunition, which is paintball, but with real guns. And they're doing. You can go check it out on Fox News. Fox News covered it, and it's a bunch of people. They get dressed up full tactical. They go into a room with barrels and sand, and they just throw the fuck down. They got Glocks, M16s, 50 cals in there, and they are shooting the fuck out of each other and fighting each other. And it's a new sport, and I can't. What is it called? And that they do it in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it looks so fun. Like, if you like going out and doing paintball, you like going out there and doing airsoft, if you like going out and just doing anything physical, this may be the sport for you. Get your lazy ass off the couch go do something fun with your life.
Okay. And he's probably having mic troubles again. Well,
No,
that's
I'm
it.
still here.
No, not you. All right. Anyways, okay. So now that just leaves me. Well, mine is a bit. I kind of don't want to get nobody in trouble, but you know, you say the wrong thing or in some cases the right thing online, and everybody will start looking at you and giving you attention. So I'll leave the name out of it, but I'll type it in here. But if you follow my channel, or if anyone's seen any of my more recent videos, you know what I'm talking about. There's a game that was made on the Dreamcast that was so popular, it went on to get on literally every other system that came out after its death. And the fans liked it so much, they even asked, could they buy the servers from the company that made it, right? Now, the sequel to this game has not been released in America, and their excuse has been basically hiding the fact that they can't pay for the server costs to make it in America. They can pay for it in other countries, but not in America. So, most recently, Japanese people have been collecting and harvesting the data from this MMO so they can make their own one English server completely independent of the company that made it, as well as the independent server. They also are trying to make the game workable offline, which the game isn't actually feasibly able to even do. Like, you can't even go through a training mode offline on this thing. Now, this particular game, they made progress now. They now have a partially functioning server. So we might, or eventually, have a topic of, you know, independent servers versus client servers, you know, right or wrong, blah, 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 something like that. Haven't really worked the kinks out. Plus, that's more like 4 or 5 years, not 4 or 5 years, more like 4 or 5 months in the future. So let me ask you guys, so basically, this game now is on its way to being the first, at least to my knowledge, independent Japanese game to get, this first Japanese MMO to get an independent American server. Of course, this has happened previously, usually on a large scale and with something super popular. WoW, basically. But this is a landmark situation. Not to mention, this game has always had a landmark when it came out. When it was first released, it was the first console MMO to ever exist. So yeah, y'all can go ahead and look that up in case y'all want to know what game it is, if y'all couldn't already figure it out. And the fact that its sequel is so beloved that Japanese are helping people make an English server that's independent of the actual company that makes it, somewhat frightening. So yeah, that's my little news. Alright, now let's get back into quote-unquote topics. Or at least the last one. Licensing corruption or licensing destruction. Alright, so there's a video game composer, not too famous, but has done a lot of independent stuff for indie titles on commission by the name of Alex Marce or Merce. I'm not sure how to say the last name. Y'all might be able to look this up. Now, this particular douchebag got sick and had to cancel a deal that she had with a video game company that when they released the title. And they compensated her, even though she didn't make the entire amount of original composition she was supposed to. They heavily compensated her, sorry. And since it wasn't the entire original amount she was owed, even though she didn't produce the entire original tracks that would warrant that amount, she decided to go on a what basically YouTube audio genocide. And she decided that she wants to, 1, try to sue the developers, which she failed. 2, claim DMCA takedown anytime she heard her music in this game called Starguard, if memory serves. And most recently, she lost. But at the same time, she's damaged YouTube channels. And the way DMCA takedowns work with YouTube is, we're going to take them down before we even know if you did anything wrong. And if you get 3, or if you get 3 on the same video, or on on multiple videos, we're going to kill your channel. or we're going to disable your ability to use director features, which is basically suicide at that point. So she failed. But now she started going after other games, most notably a very, very famous title that was beloved for many a decade by the name of River City Ransom. Yeah, she did some original composition for the sequel to it. And now she's trying to do the exact same thing she did and has recently become fucking crazy and started making death threats and suicidal threats. So, my question to you guys is, do you think there needs to be a DMCA reform on YouTube, or do you think this is an isolated incident with a crazy motherfucker? And we're going to start with you, Pika.
There needs to be a DMCA reform on this crazy cunt.
Wow. Your words, not mine.
Yeah. This is just another example of bitches gone crazy. She tried to finish a job. She couldn't because she got sick. Now she wants to take all the credit.
For whom it may concern, to whom it may concern, bitches is a general term. You do not have to necessarily be of a particular gender to be called a bitch. Continue.
Oh no. Guys can be called bitches. Girls can be called bitches. Hermaphrodites, if you can find one, congrats, you won the lottery, can be called bitches. And these other made-up genders can be called bitches. But I digress. She really needs to stop going on the continuous period train, and she just needs to calm her ass down. Or otherwise, she's gonna end up finding herself in some flames that are, number one, going to be created by the community, and number two, going to be created by people that she's probably worked with in the past, and she's going to get torched so bad that no one else will ever want to work with her ever again.
The word you're looking for is burn notice. Long story short, a burn notice is when a company or corporations basically tell everybody else in that same field, see this guy? Yeah. Fuck this guy. Here's why.
Basically, you got a hit marker on you, and no one wants to get within 100 yards of you. This is the road she's going down. She's starting to turn that little evil side that people don't want to see, like the drunk bitch that goes out and just wants to get laid. But what everyone sees, what she doesn't, is that there's a big sign sticking out of the back of her dress that says, "Hello, I have AIDS." Everyone stays away from her. She's about to head down this path. If she knows what's good for her, she will stop dead in her tracks and start apologizing immediately. Otherwise, it's pretty much a wrap for her.
I'm inclined to fucking agree. And, well, just to give my 2 cents, not at the last this time, I genuinely think what happened is she's one of those gifted, talented musicians, but everything else in her social abilities is extremely lacking. I generally think she's not even doing this because she's greedy. I think she's that level of fucking crazy. For those who missed it, that whole thing about, death threats and suicide threats, that wasn't a fucking joke. She told somebody who was telling her off about DMCA and the music and shit, "I will kill you right before I kill myself." And I want to say that's a partial paraphrase, but it was enough to warrant, a wellness check, which is, well, if the police got to come out and do a wellness check, you already fucked up. But yeah, I don't think there needs to be a reform. Well, YouTube is YouTube. They don't listen, they don't obey anybody. They just listen to their almighty masters who pay their bills, which is Google. But, quite literally, I think this is a crazy person who shouldn't be working in the industry that she is and needs fucking help. I honestly feel bad for the YouTubers, some of which can't get their channels back at all. But this is not going to stop happening unless we get, mental health care to be important in this country, which is not. So everybody watching this has already figured out where we're all fucking from.
Yeah, pretty much.
And on that note, go ahead, Matt.
Well, as far as I see it, well, this lady is crazy. She needs some form of assistance. Not saying it's entirely her own fault. Maybe she has some sort of condition, which would explain this. But yeah, she needs some sort of help. And to be honest, this is almost a broken record at this point. But yes, YouTube needs to change the way that they do the copyright claims. It's been constantly a problem for pretty much all the YouTubers out there. If once you get big enough, you will start facing problems of random copyright claims.
I got copyright claimed by the Vatican. Not even joking.
Exactly. If you get big enough, you'll get completely random copyright claims, and most people won't have the resources to fight this in court if it comes to that.
Here's what they
Those
do.
who do,
I know
well,
people don't know. Here's what they
lucky
do.
them.
They give you the option to make a rebuttal in a paragraph, and that's it. Then at some point in time, a human hopefully reviews it within a reasonable time period. Yeah, that's how they do it. Fucking stupid.
Yeah, they need to get more people in there, customer service. Because that's technically what that is. And they need to get more people involved and more humans that can look at these various disputes and figure out what's going on. And maybe offer perhaps somewhat, maybe this is actually impossible, but quicker response to someone, trying to counter-claim against the DMCA that's against them. Because as you said, once you get 3, yeah, you're fucked. You might as well not put up any more videos until you get at least one of those claims taken care of. And if someone wants to be especially dickish, they can go, oh hey, we're gonna send you 3 claims at once. And well, until you get even just one of those taken care of, you're dead in the water. It's ridiculous. But like I said, it's a bit of a broken record. A lot of YouTubers have been talking about that. But yeah, that's pretty much my say on it.
Okay. Well, Haven had to dip out, but I'm pretty sure his statements were going to be something similar as aggressive, quote unquote, as our good buddy Pika over here. But with that being said, got any closing statements, Pika?
I just got my Widowmaker and Tracer Pop figures in the mail. Now I can stare at that ass as much as I want.
Not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Well done.
Closing statements, officer?
I can't really think of much other than, well, here's hoping in the future Nintendo goes and has the Switch end up a huge success. I mean, it's not a bad system. I want to see it succeed.
Yeah, and it's doing pretty well. The problem is they're in a parts war, so it's literally not their fault. But of course, they're going to catch hell for it because that's how internet logic works. Because a YouTuber said it with no research and backing, it must be true.
Sounds like game theory.
Yeah, like they tell people, hey, this is a theory, meaning we don't know if this is an actual fact. But of course, people go and take this shit to be fact. SJW.
Except sometimes when they do try and claim things to be fact. But those are luckily kind of rare on that channel. But oh well.
Yeah, unlike Death Battle is just a clusterfuck. Like, there are videos that debunk Death Battle shit that come out almost the same damn day. I'm like, wow, y'all didn't even fucking try.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna claim you're doing research, do the research.
Oh, that Tifa Yang battle. They fucked that one up so hard.
Clearly, what's his face, who is responsible for you know Abe's Odyssey and the like, what was it, Oddworld?
Yeah.
Yeah, they clearly didn't do their research.
It's almost like people in this day and age are allergic to facts. They want feelings, or they're addicted to feelings. Thank God it's not the whole world. It's just here. But unfortunately, we live here.
Sometimes people want alternative facts.
Yeah, by the way, the alternative of a fact, a fucking lie, for those of you that didn't know. Anyways. Alright, this has been another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I will catch y'all when I catch y'all.
Ich möchte statt Haupte, weil unser Person Kramsa ist. Es ist Rosa.